you amazing human beings. I'm Lauren, and if you're new around here, I am the host of the Great Glitter podcast and the face behind the video screen as I am documenting my journey from podcast to profitable. So every Sunday, I am sitting down and recording the real, raw, honest parts of this journey, like the frustrations, the hard parts, the tears, the excitement, all the things with you, and I'm taking you along on the journey with me. So yeah, if you're new around here, welcome. If you're back, I love you. I'm so glad that you're here. Before we dive into today's update, a quick thank you to today's video sponsor, the 5-day Launch Your Channel Challenge by Trina Little. Trina is my go-to lady for YouTube and creating this YouTube channel and doing all the YouTube things, and she should be your lady too. And she is launching a new challenge that walks you through launching your YouTube channel from the very first step to branding to creating video ideas in only 5 days. It starts on Monday, May 29th, so if you want to find out more and sign up, head to the link below. Okay, on to today's video update. If you have followed along for the past 3 weeks, if you listen to the podcast, if you know me at all, you know that I'm hella long-winded, and it's really hard for me to concise my words. I know that's not the right way to say it, but oh well. So, in these video updates, I'm now going to set my timer on my phone for 5 minutes, and I'm going to give myself 5 minutes to talk as fast as possible and give you all the updates and deets. So, 5 minutes. I don't even know if you can see that. Probably not. So, start. Let's go. Okay, so today, the day that this video goes live on Monday marks 3 weeks, like 21 days since I dove headfirst into taking the podcast full time and trying to make this thing profitable. I cannot speak. And so, how do I feel about that? First of all, I feel really good. I've accomplished a lot of the business foundational things that make your podcast shareable and SEOable and all of those things and just everything that you need in place to build a successful business. There's a lot of things that I had never done before because the podcast was just a hobby and it wasn't this full-time business thing that I was trying to create. And so now that I'm diving headfirst in, have had to spend a lot of time doing those things, which I love. I love business. I love everything about what I'm doing and the marketing and planning and all of those things. But it's also a little frustrating because I feel like I've spent a lot of time doing those things. And because of that, I haven't monetized the podcast as fast as I wanted to. And I guess that's something else that I should talk about because every time I talk to and or meet a new entrepreneur and they're like, I'm several months in or even a year into this thing and I'm not making as much as I had hoped. It's like, duh, but look at how much you have done already. It takes time. But when it's yourself in the driver's seat, it can be so easy to be like, you suck. You can't do this. You're not even making money yet. And for me, I don't know that I will feel that way until I will have replaced the income that I was making doing freelance work before. And that may not happen for a little while. And so that's hard. That's hard because I feel like you're 3 weeks in, you should be making millions. And that's just ridiculous. And I make light of it now, but if you're watching this, hello. If you have your own small business or side hustle, you know that same feeling. That feeling of I suck. Why am I not already making a ton of money from this thing? Is it me? Is there something wrong with me? And that feeling really sucks. And so I'm kind of there right now. But the other thing, on the other side of that, I'm really excited. I'm really proud of myself because I have put a lot of foundational business things in place that feel really good. I don't want to take this whole video talking about all those business foundational things I've put into place, but if you're interested in podcasting, if you have a podcast of your own and you're like, what are you talking about, Lauren? I want all these business deets. Let me know in the comments and maybe I can do a separate video sometime later sharing all those exciting things with you guys. But there also was something super exciting that happened last week that I want to share with you and I want to document and I want to remember because it was really special to me when it happened. So if you follow along with the podcast, last Wednesday marked the airing of episode 100, which is awesome. Like, it's equally awesome that it's equally like, okay, now on to episode 101. Big freaking deal. But on the day that episode 100 went live, I was sitting at a coffee shop and I got my payment from my very first advertiser of the podcast. And I was sitting there like by myself in this coffee shop and I like saw the email and tears came to my eyes. Like, it's happening again right now. I almost started crying because it was a surreal moment where episode 100 went live today and I got paid for the first time ever for the podcast. Like, not even for my knowledge or content or anything else that I've ever done, but for the podcast. And it was just cool. Like, it was a really cool experience to think about, like, looking back to Lauren, you know, airing episode 1, 2, and 3 on the very first day that I launched the podcast. And if I could go back and tell her, like, girl, on episode 100, you're going to get your first paycheck for doing this podcast thing. It was just a really cool moment. And I want to hold on to that feeling because I know that that's just the first of many. And I'm also at this weird place where I'm trying to plan, like, what do I want advertisements and, like, monetization of the podcast to look like in 2018? But also having to focus on, okay, before we get there, like, you need to monetize the podcast and be making some good money from the podcast. And so I'm in that in-between place. And I've not been there in a very long time because it's been a while since I closed my first business down and I'm, like, getting back in a business mindset. Damn you, 5 minutes is not long enough. Let me finish my thought. But, like, for those of you small business owners that are listening, you know, it's hard because you're trying to focus on today and this month and making enough income right now, but then you're also trying to plan ahead and saying, okay, you know, what about Q4? What about Q1 of next year? What are my plans and my goals then? And how am I going to take the way that I'm monetizing now and make sure that it's even more then? So it's all the things. It's all the exciting things. It's all the hard things. But yeah, there you go. There's the update. That was really hard to get into 5 minutes. There you go. Video diary 4. Done. Complete. Let me know if you enjoy these, like, shorter, more concise videos where I'm not just rambling for 10 or 12 minutes. I'm trying to do better and trying to not, like, create these hella long videos you have to sit down and watch just to get the update. So there you go. In, like, 5 minutes and, like, a few extra seconds because I had to finish up my thought there. But yeah, to wrap things up, if you are new around here, if you haven't listened to the podcast, come on over. Whether you have an Apple device, you can listen on iTunes, like, through any Apple device and phone or iPad or anything like that. And if you have an Android device, you are not left out. Stitcher is an amazing platform to listen to all podcasts through any Android device. So I'm going to include links to both of those in the show notes. But if you are new, I shared the 5 most downloaded episodes ever of the podcast last week on the blog, and I'm going to link to there below because that's where you should start. Like, they are the most popular episodes ever. So if you're like, where do I start? You have 100 episodes. That's kind of a lot. Do I start in the middle? Do I start at the end? Like, where do I go? Start right below at the 5 most downloaded episodes because clearly they got something going on, and yeah, I think you should start there. So, thanks for being here. Again, thank you to Trina Little and her Launch Your Channel in 5 Days Challenge. Links to that below to find out more. Sign up, join us, and I will see you back here next week. Bye!